What's up, Fantasy Freaks? It's Rob the NRL Fantasy Freak back with my round 16 recap. It was an awesome round for me, almost halving my rank from 280 into 163 with a massive 1126. First up, the trade-in of the week, Reese Lightning with 90 points. The dude has smashed out 390s in a row. It's good to see him back to full fitness and able to express himself and his ability to the fullest. Captain Terrell May was a beast, playing 77 minutes and pumping out an 87. The safe captaincy option came through, playing a big part in trying to contain a tough Raiders outfit. One of the highlights of the round for me had to be Brayley getting moved to the starting side and playing the full 80, having a nice late try assist to boost his score to 60. And then it's the 70s club with Haas, Young, Preston, Teddy and Campbell all scoring 70 plus, which is insane. The low of the round had to be Watson getting moved back to the bench at kickoff once again and scoring a meager 32. He looks good though, and I'll be happy to have him as a number for round 27. The 40s club of Clark, Carrigan, Fogarty, Fermor and Carraz were all below par. I was on for 1200 plus, but I definitely can't complain. The big result from the weekend were the Warriors going down to a contentious call right at the back end of the game for a knock-on. For it to be sent up a try and be overruled for a fingernail touch is ridiculous. A touch doesn't make it a knock-on. I was watching the Premier League this weekend and they have some amazing technology for determining offside that I'd love to see in the NRL for determining knock-ons and forward passes. I've never liked the idea of momentum allowing the ball to float forward and it not being considered a forward pass. That is too ambiguous for a ref to rule on. I think if it's black and white to rule on it, the point of receival has to be behind the point of release. And it goes by the edges of the ball the same way in LBW and cricket the ball has to be more than half inside the stumps. If the ball is over half a ball in front of the release point, then it should be considered forward. Anyways, I just wanted to have my moan about that. The other big results were the Dogs taking care of a second string Panthers outfit and the Roosters destroying the Storm in the second half with 40 unanswered points. And the Nawa Kanatawaze show was in full effect. I think there needs to be some guidelines for the clubs around this resting business, as the Panthers and Raiders have bordered on unethical behaviour by resting so many of their squads. But there is no rule that they can't, so what would an Australian do? Use every possible advantage they can to win at all costs. Who cares that the fans are paying to see a certain product and they are deliberately being given a cheaper product? No customer should accept that. In an effort to show you the format of my videos for next year, I'll go through what I think will provide me and you the viewers the most value. I learnt this season that I don't have the time to put in the effort to do some of the things I wanted consistently, so I need to be more concise on the information that is important for making good decisions. I'm hoping that a teamless slide, gun slide, value slide and a captaincy slide should give me and you guys some things to think about. With that said, let's jump into it. So first up, I've got a team news slide where I go through the key ins and outs, suspensions, injuries, and possibly role changes. First game, Thursday night, Broncos Storm. Shibasaki's been stood down for a breach of team standards. Walsh, Haas and Carrigan are starting. I don't think the Broncos have a chance against the Storm outfit. Storm have Hughes back from his shoulder injury. Coates, Katoa, Meaney and King all back from a rest, and Blore is out with a fractured larynx. Friday night, Seagulls, Warriors, looking forward to this one. Joe Walsh is in the 14, he's a young playmaker. Sipley had no luck at the judiciary, he's out for 4 weeks, and Hui Avasa is in line to debut. I think the Sea Eagles will fizzle out after their run of good form. Egan's out for the Warriors with an injured hip, and that brings Healy in, who I've really enjoyed watching, so hopefully he can have a big one. It'll be an awesome game, and I think the Warriors will show everyone that they're not done in this competition. Friday, Roosters, Rabbits. Walker's back from concussion, so Smith's been dropped. I think the Roosters will be too strong, and the Rabbitohs, they've brought in reinforcements. Murray on the interchange after his Achilles injury, and Whiten's back from suspension, which puts Duncan back on the edge. But yeah, just Roosters at home, and they'll be wanting to go into the finals with some good form. So Dragons, Panthers, no changes for the Dragons. Molo in 21 is eyeing a return from an ankle injury, and the Dragons are limping home. Panthers are well rested. This could be a slaughter. To'o and Martin get another week's rest, but I think the Panthers will warm up for the finals with some fire in this one. Especially it's a early start, so could be some fast running rugby league from the Panthers. Saturday 7:30 kickoff. There's an NZ time. We have Titans, Tigers. Kenny's in. Fafita's out with an injured hamstring, which brings Gordon, who's a former Wallaby, in. Sammy's back from a hammy, and Bai is debuting in 14. Last game for Hasler as coach for the Titans, so they'll be wanting to send him off on a high at home. Tigers have Skelton out with concussion, so young 18-year-old Makasini is having his debut. Stayfast back from suspension, and I think the Tigers will want to upset this farewell, and they'll want to finish the season on a high for Benji. So looking forward to that one. Bulldogs, Sharks. Carraz has got the injured ankle, so he's out. Cacau's back from an infection, and Saluka Fafita's out. Tuala gets the wing spot. Sharks have Ramian back from a thumb injury. Trindle's been named, even though he came off with that ankle injury. Kaufusi in 21's eyeing a return. I think the Sharks will lose this one in a close one. Dolphins, Raiders. Farnworth in 22 might make an early recovery. Fuller might make way for him. Lemuelu's out with the knee. Vini Fuiaki returns from ankle injury, and I think it's an easy win for the Dolphins against a Raiders team with mass restings in Tomoko, Weeks, Stewart, Strange, Fogarty, Tapani, Starling, Sasangi, Papali'i, Hosking, and Young. Sunday, last game of the round, Eels, Knights. Brown's farewell game against the club he's moving to. He's back at 5'8". Think the Eels should win this. They've been in good form, and the Knights not so much. Knights have the same 17 as last week. Hunt at the back, Gagai at centre. Brayley has been moved to the bench with Crossland back to hooker and Arthur in at 5'8". And the Cowboys are on bye. So this is my new value watch list slide. I've got similar setup for the gun watch list. I've got 2 hookers, 4 mids, 3 edges, 3 halves, 3 centers, and 4 wing fullbacks. So it'll give us a lot of players to talk about and to see how they are looking, what their value looks like compared to their last 3 average. Next yeah, hopefully I'll have projections for every player. So it'll be against their projected scores rather than their last three average. And yeah, it's got their BE in there because that is a good indicator of when we should buy as well. And some comments on each player and their next six matchups. So if they're playing a top four team, it's in red. A top eight team is in orange. The middle team, well, next year there'll be two middle teams. Um, then there's bottom eight is green, light green, and bottom four is dark green. So basically, we want to see a lot of green. If the player's got lots of green coming up, then they're more likely to be a buy. So going through, starting at hooker, Damien Cook, last three average of 65. He is pumping out big minutes, big tackles. Uh, if you needed a hooker, he's definitely the one to buy. He's got a tough matchup in the Panthers though, so yeah, that's not the greatest option. Jack Simpkin is second. He's played 80 the last three, so he's good value for money. Obviously, earlier in the season, 14 points of value would be good, but at the end of the year, we're wanting the points. In the mids, Braden Hamlin-Uele, averaging 45 for the last three. He's at number 17, so he's an avoid. Horse, he's averaged 65 the last three, and he's one of the remaining first team. So I think he'll have a massive one, so he'd definitely be a buy. Tino, averaging 60 the last three, and it's the last game of the season. Should play big minutes. We want to send Hazler off on a high note, so he's a buy. Tallis Duncan, he's back on the edge. Tough matchup though against the Roosters, so I'd avoid. In the edges, Halangahu, last three average of 50. He's got a tough matchup against the Dogs, so I'd avoid. We've got the two Seagulls edges and Ben Travojevic and Corey Waddell. Yeah, both averaging under 50 the last three, so easy avoid. Halves, DCE, at home, last three average of 76. It's his last game for the Seagulls, so he'll be wanting to finish on a high. He's a buy. And then we've got the two Rabbitohs, Ashton Ward and Jai Gray, both averaging under 50, so that they're avoids. In the centres, Adam Pompey, he's been in great form. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's there as well. Warriors haven't been doing that well, but these two guys have been doing well. And I think the Warriors might surprise. Tommy Turbo is there at last three average of 64. He'll want a big one for DCE. He's in good form and fit, so he would be a buy at home. I think, yeah, out of those three, I'd definitely pick him. And at wing fullback, Reece Walsh with an insane last three average of 91.7. Broncos have got top four spot on the line. Playing a strong Storm team does reduce his upside, so I'd avoid. Xavier Coates, tough matchup against the Broncos, so I'd avoid. Mulatalo, tough matchup as well against the Dogs. And Mark Nawa Kanatawaze. The guy's a freak, and I'd buy him just for the fun of having him in my team. So, yeah, that's the value list. Let's go on to the guns. So, the guns. Damien Cook appears on here as well, so that's why he's a buy. He's on both. Can't really argue with that last three average and those minutes. Payne Haas, last three average of 80, top four spot on the line, and strong Storm team. He's going to be my captain. Terrell May, averaging 71 last three. It's the last game of the season, so I reckon he plays 80. As I mentioned, Horse, he should step up with all the other big dogs out. Tino as well, should play big minutes. On the edge, Jack Williams has been in insane form with 61 for the last three. No massive upside with a 64 with a try last start. Jacob Preston averaging 60 last three. Nothing to play for, and he has 70s with tries. And as mentioned, Duncan I'd avoid. DCE, we've talked about. Cleary, coming off a rest and looking to come home strong. Nico Hines, last three averages 63, needs to show he can lead this team through the finals, but I'd avoid against the Dogs. We talked about those two. Katoni Staggs, reduced upside against the strong Storm team. And at wing fullback, you got Jaden Campbell, last three average of 64, so he's in good form. The Tigers have finished the season strong though, so I wouldn't be captaining him. And Mulatalo and Coates, tough matchups, which reduces their appeal. So round 27 captaincy, got my top three. Haas has to be number one. He's got the highest last three average of 80, so he's in the best form. The Broncos need to win. He's at an 83 and an 86 his last two against the Storm. Yeah, so lock it in. Terrell May, last three average of 71. Played 77 minutes last start, so I'm hoping he should play 80. So he'll be my vice captain. And at number three, I've got Cleary. He's got the lowest last three average. And my worry is that he could get protected if they fly out of the blocks. So you won't get the full benefit of a firing Panthers team. Some sentimental captaincy options in DCE and Turbo. Risky options in Walsh and Horse. And some fixture dependent captaincy in JC and Big Tino. They could go well. So yeah, that's the captaincy. So this is how the team lines up for round 27. Got Clark, Haas as captain, May as vice, Carrigan, Ali Katoa and Jacob Preston, Cleary and Isaiah Katoa, Tommy Turbo and Fermor, Tedesco, Walsh and Campbell at the back, and my two superstar hookers in Watson and Brayley on the interchange, and a mass of resting Raiders on the bench and the injured Carraz. And my other two amazing hookers in Hope and ZDC. So it's going to be a struggle for the last round, but the team is strong even though it is 15 players. And yeah, I should reach my goal of top 500 pretty comfortably, I hope, because most teams will be in the same position, struggling to field 17. But hopefully next year we can have more trades come, or be smarter, not pick Hudson Young. That was a bad option to pick him. I had heard that he could get rested, but I didn't want to believe it. So yeah, that's cost me. I could have had Tino in that spot. Also, I could have picked Walsh when I picked Young, so I would have got a heap more points as well. And then yeah, had an extra player for this round. But can't complain, rank 162, must have done something right. And that's it for this video. Good luck everyone for this round, and hopefully you are still hanging in there, and we'll see you in the next one where we can see if I manage to hang on. I'll also go through my leagues. I'm hoping I'll do expert, only 10 experts next year to make it a bit easier. 20 was a bit too much. And whoever comes first or second, if I'm first in my league, I'll add them to the expert league for next year. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.